What's going on, everybody? Gustav the 13th here with another video. We have in the console version of GBO2 the UC Engage event going on right now, which means we have two suits. We have the Engage Zero, which we're gonna have to do at some other point because there's no 450 stuff, so I want to get a match. But the main one for the banner right now is the Engage Zero booster type, which is a raid for ground and space. Here with some space compatibility as well, as we saw it fight against the high mobility Camphor, which will be coming next week as a general at the same cost. But for now, let us focus on this one. So there's some interesting stuff going on with this suit, but let's go over the weapons real quick because I'm gonna be honest, both this and the Engage Zero are pretty straightforward. Both of them are just 4 weapon suits running around doing some stuff. We have the Engage Zero beam rifle, 1900 on that power with a heat rate of 80, which means you can't really fire this too rapidly, with a range of 350, cooldown time of 4, and overheat of 13 seconds. The saber here, that does have a slightly advancing downswing. It's a 2-stepper. Not bad, 2100 damage here. The Vulcans on this, much like the Vulcans that we saw in some of the previous suits, it does for 20 shots, it gets you a stun out of the 40, so half of it. And this one, unlike its general cousin, which is actually a 450, like we said, does have some dual sabers. This one also has a heavy attack on it, which plays into some of the skills and stuff that we'll be seeing here in a moment as we move on to the stats for now. As you can imagine, also 3 priority and, like we said, space compatibility, but we have 16k health on this, not too bad. But with the ballistic of 12, I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like that's gonna be pretty rough, and we'll talk about some of that later. But ballistic of 12, beam resistance of 20, melee resistance of 22, range strength of 10, melee strength of 40, movement speed of 130, top speed of 220, thruster gauge of 75, and turning speed of 69. Looking at the part slots here, we have close at 17, medium range at 13, and long range at 6. Decent amount of skills here as well. So we're starting with Assault Booster level 3, High Performance Balancer level 1, High Spec Ambec level 2, Maneuver Armor level 2, Force Injector level 2, Melee Combat Controller level 2, Shield Break Stance Mastery level 1, Heavy Attack level 1, Aerial Melee System level 1. So this is actually not for the main melee. By the way, the downswing on that does not work with that. It's actually the sub melee, which also means that you have something where the same melee that you can use for a falling downswing is the same one that you could also be charging for a heavy attack. So there's a trade-off there, and there's a whole thing you got to commit to. Keep that in mind. Since those are not distributed between 2 different melees, you can't do one into the other, essentially. Evasion System level 1, Anti-Blast Stabilizer level 1, Flight Control Program level 2, High Performance Radar level 1, Special Back Add-on Buffer level 2, which is 15%. And here is something that both the Engage Zero and the booster type have, although in case of the Engage Zero, it's actually the level 1 version. For the level 2 version, we had this. So Auxiliary Thruster Control System activates when using high-speed movement for a set period, increasing high-speed movement speed by 15%, also reduces cumulative attack damage and disables high-speed compatible weapons. I feel like that should say enable. Because essentially when you boost for a certain amount and this mode kicks in, you can actually fire your main gun in order to get another stun in while you're advancing. Additionally, grants flat booster level 1, so that's something that the level 1 version of this skill does not do. And actually the Engage Zero, which we can look at for a second, at 450, where are you? The Engage actually has 2 different weapons that are affected by that skill, so the rifle as well. But it also has its own bullpup machine gun, which can actually be used with that. And if you remember, some of the other suits that have a mode where you can activate in order to have active shooting, they actually don't use the sub-weapons. It's actually just the main gun that can do that. In this case, they let you use both of these, so you can use this. This is a several round, I think it's like a 4-round burst bullpup. If you get 2 bursts worth of shots into something, it will accumulate enough to stun. It has the same Vulcans as well, so 20 shot here. So you actually have a fair amount. So you can lead in with this, right? Get that stun. follow up with this to get another stun to close the rest of the gap and then do a downswing. Unlike that, however, our suit that we're rocking with a little bit more bare bones in terms of sub-weapons. Not bad for this. You can still get this done here. Technically, you could do it if you actually have enough faith in yourself to nail this at a certain range before closing in to do that, but at that point, you're probably going to be doing one of these downswings, or maybe trying to wind up for a charge attack. Backing out a little bit, let's check out the enhancement list as well. So we have anti-melee reinforcements, so +1 to anti-melee, +1 to melee, -3 to recovery time for the thruster from overheat, and a complex expansion slot at the ass end of 1830. Before we get to the unlockable stuff, which is anti-general defense program, which, to be honest with you, you should probably grind towards this just because of some of the defense and health pull on this thing, as well as the +5 melee modifier. And I'm kind of ragging on this just because even some level boosted stuff. And by the way, some of the unit adjustments means that the dodge actually got adjusted. they actually touched on this suit again. Oh man, but even that, it's like a flat. Let's flat 20s at least. I know that's a level boosted suit, but like, damn. Why is this so? It just feels so, and you're gonna see it in some of our matches. I actually had a hard time actually landing a win in this thing. Not because I don't think that it's competent, but like, man, it's a frail motherfucker. We're gonna get into here and show you some of this stuff in the practice field. Okay. So we do have a new operator, by the way, at the end of the step-up banner for this event. It's Peshmantang, who actually pilots these suits. But we normally don't have those in because she'd be interrupting us while we're doing this segment. You will hear her, however, when we do the match later on. So, interestingly enough, if you see, here's that mode. You have Firewall advancing in that boost. And on the regular engage, as well as on this one, you can see that little butt flap in the back. It's like a little beetle. That's normally where that mode comes in from, but of course we also have the big booster pack on this thing as well. And the nice thing about this is that unlike the TR5 and so other suits that have this, you don't have to do it primarily from boosting forward. You can actually do this while boosting backwards or to the side. Obviously, orientation may or may not fuck with you a little bit, but it is kind of nice to be able to do that. So yeah, you can do this, and then of course this version, I'll wait until we get some more boost. And that's another thing, the recovery time in this is kind of ass. But you can actually get those flaps, like it says on the tin. Not bad overall. Let's try to show this off here. Boop, so about 20, half of that. And then we get into some of the swings here, and this is kind of where things get a little bit dicey. So, not bad. It has more of a Zeta neutral on there. The downswing is a lot like the Beta FS, Vivaldi Beta FS. Good amount of reach on that. The downswing on this, on the dual sabers, pretty cool. Has a very high potential to miss. The hitboxes on the sabers themselves are very small. And because it has this initial windup, you really do have to start from a little bit of a ways away in order to make sure that reaches. The problem, of course, being that it's very readable. So they really do expect you to try to make your approach with that from an odd angle. Obviously, because you do have the ability to do those downswings from the air, they do kind of expect you to try to employ that as well. Although, to be fair, that also means that you're going to be visually in a very obvious position for them to see you. But this is a very overt suit. You know, there's no stealth on it. There's no smoke to pop. And because you have, you know, kind of jack all for defense or health, unless you really just try to put something on here, which there's not a lot of slot room for it. You really do have to try to just do your dirt before they catch you. That also means just having to eat a lot of shit in the meantime. And just hoping that you can finesse some of that extra maneuverability in order to just avoid that damage. But it's got the output. No problem. We're going to show off the heavy attack here real quick. And a certain aspect of the heavy attack. So when I first did this on stream, I actually didn't realize how much this carried you because I was getting pushed around by the suits. But as you see, it's a pretty potent three-piece attack. But this is maybe from about here. Bam, bam. Ooh, it actually it actually gets some pretty decent momentum. And of course, because it has combo controller level 2, it actually applies to both weapons here. So you can do some stun looping if you really want to just do some cutscene combos on somebody. Obviously, depending on where you are and the kind of suits that are around you, you may want to be careful because you will get punished a lot for doing so. But it is capable. Moving on to our final little shell up here, I guess. Whee! Also, one thing to keep in mind, because this downswing has a lot of carry to it, it's still, like as you can see there, it's still recovering boost. So you do have the opportunity to use that to stall if you can get out of certain situations, and once you're out of the ass end of that boost, you can use that to try to escape and or just do another roll. That being said, not really crazy for the output in terms of doing any base busting. The rifle can get a little bit of a pip out. If you really want to try to sit here and do the charge, it does do a little bit. Not a crazy amount, but you know, if you're already here just doing like regular swings or whatever, then you can still contribute at least a little bit. Mostly it's just going to be the rifle and maybe the occasional Vulcan that's going to help you put that suit, the base over if it isn't already there. But obviously, you are probably going to be running into a lot of bullshit just trying to get that that output. Interestingly enough, at baseline when this thing is naked, I want to say, just okay, that's fresh. It's like just short. You still have to double tap to confirm a kill on even a gun cannon. There probably are some things that are a little bit more frail than that. Also be careful where you see, and this is the thing. The one thing I don't like about the downswing on this is that because there's that wind up and because it's very flat and doesn't have a lot of just like swing or like give to it in terms of just the slack, that actually got caught on that building, motherfucker. It's a little bit hard to do it in a way that's not super obvious unless you're legitimately just flapping in and trying to sink in from the back, which obviously you can. There's a decent amount of strafing potential on this suit. Also the amount of time you have until you can actually cancel out of that. Oof. There's a lot of little stuff like that. This is a very hard commit kind of suit. Because you can't back out of it until about where we did right there. So you get carried a decent ways before you can actually get out of there. And that's because, let me see if I can show it real quick. Maybe right about here. Bro, that's another thing. I can't neutral backswing to save my fucking life, but it actually holds it out for a hot minute. Also, one other thing to keep in mind, it's a little bit tough to get that last part of the downswing here unless you're in an area where it sinks down enough to kind of glance it, or if you're hitting a really big suit. So be careful of that. There's a lot of little shit like that, because I think they mostly expect you to hit that second part when you're initially downswinging someone, which is very counterintuitive because you're probably going to use the other downswing to make the initial reach and follow up with the other one. So unless you're very quick, you'll probably only be able to hit them with that once they're already flat, unless you're just doing it the other way around, you know? There's a lot of stuff about this suit that's kind of like that, where it's like, it's all there, it's just kind of in the wrong order or just in the wrong kind of like setup. I'm sure there will be some people that figure it out a little bit better, obviously. Not super cracked when it comes to raids or much of anything like that. But this, it's kind of gross. I'm excited to see more people pick it up, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't see too many. As you know, or as you should be aware, the Camp for Hymo from this same event that this was shown off on is actually slated to release next week. And it is the second of 4 suits that are slated to have banners. And it's going to be the general version rival suit of this at 500. So I think a lot of people are holding out to see what that's going to be like, because if that's really stacked, compared to a bunch of the other stuff that just got buffed at this cost, and the ballistic heavy kits and stuff that can take advantage of the lack of ballistic defense on this suit. This is going to be a very vulnerable, kind of rough sell for people, regardless of how much damage it can actually do. There are just safer, honestly, just safer raids to run. I think at the end of the day, it's kind of the takeaway there. So we'll see next week. It's probably going to be another 5-step kind of situation. We had a really hard time, like I said, trying to get a win in this thing. There was a lot of nice moments where we had some good maneuvers, but, you know, it doesn't really matter if you don't win. So we have one match that we managed here, and we're going to put it right around here.
All pilots, prepare for combat. Mobile suits, deploy at once.
Interested to see how much we can get away with the advancing subgun on the regular Engage Zero at 450.
Commencing
'Cause
operation.
it seems like it's 2 bursts to get the stun on that from what we did in practice.
There's a stealth unit. Beacon capture confirmed.
Oh god, hey. Get away from me. Get away from me. No. No. Ah.
You can stay in the fight. Significant damage detected. You're taking too much damage.
This thing's got no defense. Just none at all. Whee! Oh, that didn't count. That's shitty. Nah. That downswing didn't come out either. I thought I just hit it, but maybe I was trying to make it like I was charging, but it definitely wasn't supposed to.
Select a location and method for redeployment.
Oh, is that our dude? No. There's like 2 guys of G's running around then. Unless that was the other one? No, I think that's the one. Yeah, there is 2.
An enemy mobile suit.
That almost caught him.
Lost an ally unit.
That almost caught 6 in the leg. He got that, but like, what is that?
We lost an ally unit.
Oh my god, this fucking ramp always catches me with some bullshit. Nah, he just fucked off entirely. There he is. Bro, get the hell away from me!
You're all right. You can stay in the fight. Long-range supporting fire incoming. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile. Supporting fire complete. Supporting fire successful. Get after that enemy mobile. Significant
God damn.
Proceed with caution. Taking too much damage.
Man, I couldn't roll because of the heavy.
Captured by the enemy. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Light components overloaded. You need to get them
I got
repaired.
no leggy.
You need to secure enemy beacons if we want to keep this mission on track.
I don't know if they're gonna deal with it or not.
Beacon capture confirmed.
5's molding again.
An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Don't have a lot of leggy here.
Beacon capture confirmed.
There he is.
There's a stealth unit among the enemy fighters. Be on guard.
And it. No.
Being destroyed.
One. Nice. So sorry. Shit. Got two guys of G's. One of them's really hurt. The other one's swooping back in. 4 should intercept it. No. Immediately got jumped by the other one.
Enemy unit destroyed. We lost an allied unit.
What is that? That's not what I want.
Got the upper hand.
Couldn't cancel out of it. What the fuck?
Too much damage. Suits on its last legs. Enemy unit destroyed. We lost an ally. No! Suits been destroyed. Long range supporting fire incoming. Supporting fire complete. No good. Supporting fire was off target.
Ooh. Is he gonna try to go for base? It really seems like it.
Requesting
I can't tell if he's just going all the way around or not.
2 minutes remaining for the operation. Bases are especially valuable for this mission. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Enemy unit destroyed.
I don't know if he got him or
An
not.
ally is requesting support. We lost an ally unit.
Is he there? Oh shit.
We have detected an ally signal.
Oh, he did get. Ready to go.
1 minute remaining for the operation. Keep pushing. We lost an ally unit. Supporting fire incoming. Pull back to stay out of it. Enemy fire incoming. Retreat.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
An ally is destroyed. Supporting fire complete. Supporting fire was successful. Now get after that enemy mobile suit. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Mission has ended. Victory is ours.
Ah, what a pain. Oh, look at the pose. So it's interesting, but man, there's so much, and I think this is just the issue, right? 500 is a cost for having really low ballistic is very damning, and there's a lot of stuff that's accumulated over time, like the Gaz-G and all this other shit that just has it thoroughly covered. This thing is very punishable. But the maneuverability on it is really crazy. And the traversal that you can get out of the downswing on the sub sabers is... Can't really beat that. Although it is kind of rough to cancel out of, which can make it a bit unwieldy. But in general,
Here's your reward for this battle.
being able to refine that, and maybe not even just using the heavy too much, although that fucking kick is gross. Like, I genuinely wonder how much distance that actually gives you, because that's pretty considerable. that was our match in the Engage Zero Booster. Like I said, a lot of good output. Pretty nice moments in it. I actually really like the amount of carry that the flash kick, and the fact that it even does a flash kick is already fun. Like this is a neat suit. But it does seem like it's already kind of slated for having some adjustments in the future, especially when it's going to be immediately stunted by its own rival suit as a general suit right out of the gate. There have been some speculations by people who have been playing the JP version of Engage that we're probably going to get a support, a really funky looking support at that, maybe for the third suit, and then the fourth one's kind of up in the air. I haven't really seen a lot of people discuss it yet, but we'll probably see some stuff later on if it hasn't already been posted in the JP side of Twitter already. That being said, I won't be able to do clan matches, but I am assuming that people are going to be running these just because of some of the coverage on the heavy attack, not to mention just the insane amount of mobility that this has. I would be honest with you, outside of, you know, if you really just don't want to think about how vulnerable this is in terms of defense, which honestly as a raid you probably shouldn't be worrying about it anyway, because there's only so much you can do before you just have to fucking not be a little bitch and just deal with it. In terms of coverage, you might as well just put most of this into mobility to get the most out of that auxiliary booster as possible, because it can run out pretty quickly, and it is where the most of this thing's ability to go in is going to come from. One thing to keep in mind, I want to see for sure, just in case. Yeah, so when you redirect, it doesn't maintain the mode. So Force Injector, not your friend when it comes to actually maintaining that. You do have to keep curving around. That being said, you don't have to be in that boost for too long, but after you lose that certain chunk because of the Force Injector, it is going to be a little bit tough to maintain that second mode engagement. And I want to say, even with a little bit more, and honestly even with 100, mostly because I think we're only running, like, what, Force Injector 1 or 2 or something like that, the amount that we lose is pretty steep. Also keep in mind, if you hard land yourself, you're not going to be able to do that other mode for the falling downswing, so don't do that to yourself if you don't have to. But in general, I don't mind this suit. I do want to try to get some more runs in it. It is really fun. But to be honest with you, I am interested to see how its less mobile cousin does at 450 as a general. Mostly because it does seem like, especially at that cost, it's got a lot of potential with 2 different advancing like shots during this mode, as well as a pretty good cut. Like the downswing is the same on that one because it's just the same saber. That's some good coverage on that initial swing, right? Not necessarily priority 3 like this thing is. It is priority 2 since it is a general, but should be interesting to see. But for now, this is the Engage Zero booster running around. Let me know if you guys have gotten this or if you've enjoyed it. To be honest with you, we went through most of the banner in order to also get the Pesh operator, which is pretty nice. It's been a long time since we've had one, but it is kind of shitty that once again, much like the Killy operator, it's been relegated to being part of a step up. But hopefully we can get some more in the future. And until next time, this is a good start of the 13th. Hopefully I'll be able to do an Engage Zero video soon. Stay tuned for that.